Hi everybody, it's Sarah Diesel and we're here on SDTV with a wonderful guest for you, Sam Humeid. He is the president and CEO of Perennial Holistic, and now he is running for the at-large stakeholder of the Studio City Neighborhood Council. Thank you so much for being on the show, Sam.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, how did you and when did you get involved in the cannabis movement?
In the cannabis movement, I got involved in the cannabis movement early before dispensaries were even an issue in Los Angeles. Close to like 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. When I started to be a stockbroker, when I started using medical cannabis. Because I used to be the worst student, it was awful. But when I could use medical cannabis, I could study really well. So I used it to study for the Series 7 test. And since then, it's just been uphill and downhill since then.
That is amazing. So you were a patient at that time. At what point did Perennial Holistic start to come in?
2006. I was fundraising for nonprofits, managing a company that does fundraising. Had this wild idea that we should open a dispensary. The city council was going to be on top of their game. They're going to recognize that marijuana is here to stay, and they're going to put a ban on dispensaries like overnight. I expected like an emergency council session by LA City Council, like during the Christmas New Year's break.
Yeah.
It didn't happen like 6-7 years. But anyway, so that's what I did. So I decided to open a dispensary, wrote a check for my location.
Wow.
Quit my job. 3 days later, we opened the shop.
Wow, that is an amazing story. That is such a great story.
I was doing it on the clock face of the city council, thinking that they're going to make sure that no one's going to allow them to do this anymore. And yeah.
Yeah, you've been through the ups and the downs and through the hoops that the city council has made you put. They pretty much put hoops up, lit them on fire, and you have jumped through all of them. So you know, I really put my just everything in what you do. Like I as an advocate, I advocate for you.
Thank you.
You are definitely somebody that is doing it right.
Thank you.
You cross your T's, you dot your I's. Your place is beautiful.
Thank you.
You really cater to the patient's needs, and that's the most important part. So.
Absolutely.
2 thumbs up for Sam.
Thank you.
At what point did you decide to run for Studio City Neighborhood Council?
Early in January of this year, there was a dispensary opened up, not more to store's throw of my store. And that was the 13th store to open in Studio City, which put the residents of Studio City they've had it. That was the last one they were going to accept.
And how big is Studio City? I mean, LA is huge, but Studio City
38,000 residents. It's got quite a few residents. It's about 35,000 residents, plus a intake of close to 10,000 people during the daytime for the employment, the studios, and so on and so forth, and then another 10,000 people that come in at night for the restaurants and everything else.
Interesting. And so, do you find that 13 in just a small area may be too much?
I agree. It's not even so much as whether or not they're too much. Up and down Ventura Boulevard, there's dozens of Western pharmacies that are all very close to one another, and they move constantly to try to expand and get more space. It's not an issue. The issue is the aesthetics. This is a nice neighborhood. Most neighborhoods in Los Angeles are fairly nice. They don't want to see the big neon green cross. They don't want to see the burly security guard out front. They don't want to see all the things that they assimilate with medical marijuana happening. And unfortunately, a lot of our colleagues do that. They know that the bigger, brighter that they get, the more attention they're going to get, which is going to drive more business to them. It's a sound idea, but in this particular market that we're in, you're better off running low key and being almost invisible if you could.
I get what you mean, understandably. I mean, your place is relatively, it's actually low key, you know, when patients come in, you really cater to them. They're not standing waiting in a line.
Right.
You know what your patients want before they even walk in. Because you build such a relationship, they become family with you.
Of course.
That to me is really a true sign of a great collective where everyone is collectively working together to help each other. So fantastic.
Which goes along with these different numbers. Like I'm a boutique store, so because I'm a small store, I can cater to 20 people a day and know exactly what those people want day in, day out. Whereas a larger store would require hundreds of patients coming and going. Nobody really knows what's going on. The customer service level diminishes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do we need a lot more dispensaries? Sure, we need tons of smaller ones that cater to the patient as opposed to these giant Walmart-ish kind of places.
I love that. More mom and pop selling the fact that all of them regulated.
Right.
So we know what's in the medicine, we know what we're getting in, we know all the ingredients in the edibles and all that stuff.
and you definitely.
Yeah, definitely regulations is a huge thing.
Right.
Like you were saying, they should know what's in it. Absolutely, absolutely. Testing medicine, all of that stuff.
Responsible, sensible regulation is necessary.
Mhm. So everybody's on the same page, because everybody is, it's almost like the United States of America. Every state is so different, every collective is so different.
Absolutely.
And so it would be nice to have some uniformity.
Right.
But anyways, actually I wanted to ask you about your election process, and what does this mean for someone like me? What would it mean if you were elected into the Studio City Neighborhood Council, for the cannabis movement in general? What would it mean? And for anyone in Studio City, they don't even have to be a patient cannabis
For the
related.
cannabis movement, so it's a two-part answer.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
The cannabis issue isn't really part of my platform at all, which is strange to many people. I can't believe you operate a dispensary, you're just active and all these things, and you're not taking the medical marijuana thing to that next level. And this really isn't the forum for it. This isn't. I'm not going, as a neighborhood candidate, going to be able to change federal law. I'm not going to be able to impact Barack Obama's beliefs about medical marijuana. I'm not going to be able to do any of those fantastic things as this particular elected official's office will allow me. What I am able to do, though, is focus on the problems that surround our city. The valet parking issues, the traffic problems, the parks and the environment, things like that. I can handle all those on my neighborhood council issue. What really makes a big statement this coming election is if I get a large enough mandate of voters to come out and vote for me, knowing that it's taken for granted that I operate within the medical marijuana industry. And that should be just a nonsensical, just whatever. Sure, he owns a small business like anybody else, and he wants to work for the city. As far as the city council, other politicians looking in, this will be the first tangible poll that they will have to recognize how strong of a vote medical marijuana really is in the city of Los Angeles. So if I win by mandate, it would expedite, I feel it would expedite the sensible regulation process in Los Angeles. Because at that point, these politicians that are in office now would know that their jobs are at stake with the upcoming March election.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay!
It holds a lot of weight. And I didn't really recognize that until after the fact. I was sitting there like, wow, I'm the only person in my entire industry and the whole city is having different council elections. I'm the only dude that did it. So this is going to really set a major mandate.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations. I'm just so excited about it. I'm so excited about it. So when is the election?
The election is September 20th
Okay.
at Walter Reed Middle School.
All right. I'll post all the information on the site.
It's right down the street on Colfax Avenue.
Excellent. So I just have to go down there and I can just go and sign up. And
Yeah, I'm running for the at-large candidate seat. So that means anybody that has a stake in Studio City. If you live in Calabasas and you come to Studio City for work, or you live in West Hollywood and your doctor is here, or
I shop here, or I'm a patient here.
You're a
So
patient
can I
for
just
it.
Bring your business card, let's say.
You can bring my business
Come on
card.
down to Perennial Holistic in Studio City, grab a business card, and on September 20th, vote for Sam Humeid for Studio City Neighborhood Council.
Thank you.
Awesome, I love it. Because you're a huge activist, I
Yeah.
want to ask you, how can people get more involved? You do so much. What's one thing that people can do to get more involved in the cannabis community?
The number one thing people really can do is regulate themselves. Don't be what the world expects us to be. Don't go walking in the street smoking a joint in defiance. Don't walk out of the dispensary and open your bag, start showing your product to whoever walks by. Don't shop at stores that exploit people for their sexuality to sell
I
products.
was just going to say exactly what I was thinking because I was class and cannabis in class.
Right.
It's not about sex and weed. And as a female, you really need to present yourself in a professional manner.
Right.
And even when we go to protests, to see men in suits and women in their Sunday best, so to speak, you really can't differentiate the people who are against us and the people who are for us.
Right.
We blend right in and we look just like I say, the soccer moms.
Right.
And that is the perfect answer. High five, man.
Thank
That
you.
was awesome. I was totally not expecting what you were going to say. I'm like, what is he going to pull out? So.